Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play. I apologize for this episode being out a little bit late. To be completely honest, I was trying to film the Fort Aspenwood video today, but I've been sitting in queue for like an hour and a half, so I've kind of just decided we're going to scrap that one and maybe we will revisit later down the series. Let me just make sure I got everybody. What we're gonna do? Befriending the Kurzicks. The council has spoken to prove your allegiance. You must earn Kurzik faction by undertaking tasks on the behalf of the Kurzicks. There's a rumor that certain unscrupulous individuals will even sell a faction for gold. When you have accumulated 10k unspent faction points, you will be counted as an ally of the Kurzicks. What you say? I will prove myself. I was gonna say I have way more than a faction. You've proven yourself a true friend of the Kurzicks. You're welcome in our land. You may count as allies in your fight against Shiro. The Defenders of the Forest. Danica speaks highly of you. You may not be a Kurzik by birth, but you're fast proving yourself worthy of becoming an honorary Kurzik. By the grace of the gods, we Kurzicks have found a way to create Juggernauts. For years, they have proven effective at defending our forest from Luxons, but recently those heathens have begun overpowering our Juggernauts. The Redemptors have preyed on the subject for a few weeks now. Alas, let's say the gods have spoken. We must develop new, more powerful Juggernauts. We must gather 3 volunteers who are willing to become Juggernauts and exhort them to the Eternal Grove where the sacred transformation will take place. Head to Deseret Thicket to gather volunteers Calvus, Lieber, and Extra Temper Berta, then take all 3 of them to Eternal Grove. Do you think you can handle this task? I cannot stress enough that failure is not an option. I won't let you down. Alright. Let's go find these people in the thicket. So yeah, essentially people get, unlike the Luxon side where they kind of just grow the turtles, on the Kurzik side, people actually get turned into the Juggernauts, which is a little bit interesting. But we have to go find some volunteers to be turned into Juggernauts. So let's see if we can go find these people they want us to find. I don't know, I've never really liked this story beat, but I've never been a whole fan of like self-sacrifice as a concept. Like it's nothing I would ever consider in real life. And it's nothing I would ever expect other people to consider. And it's not necessarily, I don't know, it's one of those things that makes it a bit morally gray, and it kind of makes me feel like maybe the Kurzicks aren't actually like, when the Luxons are kind of just like growing big turtles, and like the Kurzicks are like basically sacrificing people and turning them into Juggernauts, it kind of makes them feel a little bit more like evil. Not necessarily evil is maybe the wrong term, but it makes them feel a little bit more off compared to the Luxons, which the Luxons certainly have their own weird oddities that they do that make them unique and a little bit different. But I don't know, turning people into, it seems like you wouldn't have to turn people into Juggernauts if, like, for example, the Luxons get similar power out of their siege turtles and stuff like that. It seems weird that you have to sacrifice people to turn them into Juggernauts. For years, I've cowered behind my father's shadow, scared of everything, scared to disappoint him, scared to anger him, scared to fail. But that's all in the past. When I heard that the volunteers needed for some new Juggernauts, everything suddenly became clear. The gods put me here to protect and serve my people. Never been sure of anything in my entire life. And like, okay, so a little bit of a spoiler. We'll probably get to them next, but like, a couple of these people make sense, and a couple of them don't. Like, you kind of get the idea that a person like this would come from, who's like, I haven't really done anything, and I want to make something of myself, and I have the option to become like a, you know, eternal guardian of the Kurzicks. Like, this kind of makes sense, but there's a couple people that it's like, well, we'll probably get to him next. I think he's the next guy. And I'll talk about more when I get there. But it kind of doesn't make sense that he would become a a dude. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a little weird because it feels a little bittersweet on this side. While on the Luxon side, it's more or less happy-go-lucky. Hey, we bringing the gangs back together. We bringing the tribes back together. We getting some turtles raised up. We having a grand old time over here. I really like this zone though. This zone is pretty cool. Kill some more dragon mosses. Alright, here's Lieber, the next person. Good day. Is there something I can do to help you with? I consider it my duty to help anyone in need of assistance. So that's time's it. Well, let me say farewells to my wife and we should be off. I know they've come for me. It's time to say goodbye. You know that I'm not a man of my words. A man of many words, but please remember that I love you and never forget what I do for our family. Oh, Lieber, I know that I shall miss you too much, but I've never been more proud of you. Now I shall make sure our people never forget you and the sacrifices you have made. Remember me, but don't mourn me. I want you to find happiness again. Yeah, this is the dude I'm talking about. This dude has logically and motivationally zero reason to want to become a, like, guardian thing. It's like he's got a family. He's got, you know, his own shit he should be handling. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I heavily subscribe to the idea that you should always take care of yourself before you take care of, especially anybody who's not family. I love you too. Farewell. I suppose that's it. Let's go then. Yeah, this guy doesn't make any. I don't make any sense. I don't know. I don't agree with this. It makes me feel bad doing this quest. Like, it makes me feel bad encouraging them to do this kind of stuff. I don't know how I feel about this. Especially because, you know, ultimately, like, he's, like, it's another thing if we were getting these Juggernauts to fight Shiro and it felt like a necessity, but at the moment we're getting them to fight the Luxons, which is kind of like, at least in the eyes of, like, the player character, it's kind of like a stupid, pointless battle between them, and we know that they're, like, gonna ruin, like, you know, this dude's sacrificing his life with his family, become a Juggernaut, and they're just gonna go chuck him into a bunch of Luxons. Like, I don't know. I guess it's similar to real life, though, where it's like, you know, if assholes could just get along. A lot of pointless sending people to their death for no reason. Shit, when was the last... Let's be honest here for a couple seconds. When was the last, like, good war? And that's obviously a loaded topic, but, like, in all seriousness, like, I think a lot of people can agree that stuff, like... Actually, I guess now we can't say that because Ukraine is a good war. That's, like, I mean, not a good war. That's a bad way to put it. But, like, as far as the point of view of anyone who's on the side of the Ukrainians, yeah, like, the Russians are inherently in the wrong here, and there is no, like, gray area here. But anyway, enough about real life stuff. We might have over-aggroed here. I'm a little worried about that. But I think we'll be fine. As long as neither of our guys die. I think we're almost there as well. I dig this, like, little river and, like, these plants. I like that we can see, there's hints to it in the story at certain points that, like, some of the green is starting to come back to the Echovald forest, and I like that, like, this quest gives us a bit of a look at that. Sorry, not this quest, this zone gives us a good look at that. There's a time I was a resplendent redemptor. Kurzicks from all houses came together to listen to my sermons, but then I failed my people and shamed the gods by allowing my body to be transformed into a juggernaut. I hope that the gods will grant me mercy and forgiveness. Takes me to grow good. I'm very eager to get on with this once again in favor of the gods and my people shall have redemptions and wipe away my sins. See, this person makes sense. I can get behind this person's motives. The first two people, no. I almost want to be like, go away. Find somewhere else to not throw your life away kind of thing. I don't know. To each their own, but... Alright, let's talk to him. I'm sorry, but I cannot permit you to enter the Eternal Grove. It's a sacred place to us Kurzicks. You must have permission from the Council of Nobles to gain entrance. Thank you for escorting these volunteers. Liber, Berta, and Cals, I'm honored to meet all of you. The sacrifice you make today proves that your souls are pure and that you are worthy of walking among the gods forevermore. You shall be known by saints among your people. Let me know you wish to enter the Eternal Grove. That's a cool shot. I like that. I like that waterfall.
It's been a long time since we bested Shiro.
I was thinking the same thing. I fear his return will not be long in coming.
You worry about things that will never come to pass.
The hell do you mean? He already came back once.
Still a threat. The affliction will return.
Nonsense. Shiro is gone once again, and with him the affliction. You should know. You were there.
Yes, but...
Shiro is in the past. We must be mindful of the present. The Luxons are the biggest threat to us Kurzicks, and it is to them we must shift our focus.
Baron Vesperg! Baron Vesperg!
What news?
Baron, the Luxons have breached the forest. They're on the march as we speak.
Turtles.
The Eternal Grove! Protect the Forever Trees! Kill the Luxon invaders!
Interesting. One thing I find interesting is that I don't know if you exactly remember all the way back to the Luxon side, but on the Luxon side, it was more like we had to get everybody together and like get them to believe us so that they would help us fight against Shiro. They weren't necessarily Shiro deniers, but on the Kurzik side, it feels more like they're like, no, Shiro isn't coming back. There's nothing to worry about. And it's like, no, he's running it back, boys. He's gonna bring that sledgehammer to that face. Also, one thing I always kind of struggled with in this game is like what about the Juggernauts is like what their level of sentience is. Because if you remember all the way back whenever the first episode when we came into the Kurzik zone, into House Uhelzer, we talked to a gate guardian who was a Juggernaut but seemed like completely human, like conversed like a human, had human level intelligence, seemed to know who he was kind of thing. So it's like, but a lot of the quests and a lot of the other Juggernauts you run into make it sound like they're kind of like mindless tools, more or less. So it's a little bit weird. I'm not exactly sure what the sentience level of the Juggernauts is actually supposed to be. But anyway, let's talk to this guy. It is our duty as Kurzicks to keep the Eternal Grove secure at all costs. We receive word that the Luxon Raiders are on their way to this area. We must not let them destroy this grove and the Forever Trees. Do you understand? Make your preparations and I'll see you inside the grove. If we survive, you have my word that the great houses will do as you ask. Okay. But anyway, that's going to be the end of today's episode. I like how it's nighttime in this outpost. This is the first time we actually get to see like an inky black sky here in the Echovold Forest, and I actually really like it. I wish this was like the default instead of the gray. It looks like something out of like a, like this shot looks like something out of like a children's horror book or something, with the like branching dead trees and the dark inky background behind it. But anyway, that's gonna be all for me here today. I apologize for this one being a little bit shorter, but it is because I tried to make the Fort Aspenwood video and it didn't work out. But anyway, I'll probably try to slide that Fort Aspenwood video in wherever I can in this series. I wish I could just honestly go into the mission by myself and just run around. I would do that, but you actually have to get the queue to pop, so I might try to get a whole bunch of people to get the queue to pop, or I might wait till a weekend where there's bonus for playing Fort Aspenwood and might try to get in there and get a recording done. But anyway, thanks for coming out. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Check out the Skyrim video.